Hey, what's going on? This is Kepra. I am here today. It's been a while. I've had a lot going on. And today, really fast, I want to talk about a couple of different things. Like I said, it's been a good while since I've last come on here and talked about health and nutrition and fasting and raw food. But I wanted to come today to talk to you. Our main subject today is going to be supplements. I get asked about supplements frequently, so I wanted to address and let you know what type of supplements I personally recommend, what I personally take. Uh, One of the supplements is going to be maybe somewhat controversial. So I'm really looking forward to getting into this and, maybe definitely creating food for thought. Definitely allowing you to improve your health and, create conversation, create energy. Because that's what we're all looking for at the end of the day is to have more energy. So, without further ado, the first thing I want to mention is that we will be doing another retreat in November, Jamaica retreat. We went in February. It was awesome. And November. So if you are thinking about it, I would strongly consider joining us November 6th to the 13th. Everything is included except for the airfare. So you can go on my website and you'll see the flyer on the home page. All right. And I will be also announcing another week-long class series sometime this summer. So I'm working on scheduling the dates as we speak. So look out for that if you're interested. You're local to the DC area. Probably the format will be a week long of classes. There will be in the evenings, probably starting around 6 and commencing at 8. So yeah. So look out for those things as well. And of course, we always have our specials. We ship out juice cleanses to pretty much the entire East Coast United States. So if you're interested, we ship out 3 days, but 5 and 7 day options are also available. So yeah, just stay tuned for everything we got going on. So yeah, let's get into our subject, supplements. Now, one of the things about just health and nutrition, supplementation, that's important to understand is that we bring in, anytime we eat, we're bringing in nutrients, we're bringing in vitamins, minerals, etc. And one of the things is that obviously, because we can look at it one of two ways, and I like to offer this term is resistance. And one of the things is that when we eat food, any food, whether it happens to be a standard American diet or raw vegan diet, the body is going to hold on. It's going to there's going to be some remnants, some residue that's left over. And this is vital because whether you're eating steak and cheese or you're eating a kale salad, something, again, there's going to be some residues left over. What is this residue? This residue is important because that's the body's really survival mechanism when you don't have food. The body naturally does this so that when a fasting cycle or a fasting season comes along, it uses this residue, this remnant, to feed on. So what's interesting is that because of that, and again, this no matter how clean or dirty you eat, your body is going to leave some residue. Um, we can also look at this residue as being a form of mucus as well. So again, anytime we think about the term mucus, which I don't, which I like and I don't like, because I like it because it is, when you get an over amount or over accumulation of mucus, then it's going to start to cause issues and cause imbalances. But I don't like it is because we always associate it with a negative thing, and the mucus is not a negative thing. It is our protection. It is a natural design of the body in terms of creating that protection when we eat, and and especially if it's a violation. So let's really quick look at the worst violators. The highest mucus formers are probably, number one, I would probably have to say dairy, like cheese and milk. And then number two, I'd probably say, before even animal protein, I'd probably have to say cooked starch. And then, you're looking at like meat products and stuff like that. So and that's, again, these foods are extremely nourishing to a fault. We eat these things. Obviously, a lot of mucus forms in the body. It causes not just only congestion in the chest area. Mucus is, wherever that blood is going to go, mucus can go there as well. So it could be in the extremities, like in the arms and legs, or it could definitely is going to be within this chamber where all of our internal organs are. So back to the mucus as a residue. Now, in a positive sense, and this is why it is so important to fast, and this is why this creates resistance. So when we have this resistance that's built up in our body, this mucus that's present within our body, it's like, and your body is not functioning like you would. Your energy is low. You may have little pain or issues, whatever the case may be. The thing is the first thing we have to look at is saying, okay, how much resistance is going on? Because now when we bring it back to supplementation, it's like, okay, we're always thinking about what else can we consume. And, we live in a consumer-driven world, and our minds are trained, are programmed to believe, or programmed to first think like, okay, what else do I need to take to deal with this particular issue that I'm dealing with? Instead of thinking the opposite, and it's like, okay, what do I need to eliminate? What do I need to not eat? What do I need to not take? So we really should, and it's really a question verse, because every time you bring something in, food, herb, supplement, we can substitute a word which all of these things do is stimulant. So the thing is like, anytime we're bringing in food, anytime we're bringing in supplements, anytime we're bringing in herbs, teas, etc., we're stimulating the body. Now again, like resistance, like mucus, like residue, these things are neither positive or negative. It's always all about balance. However, we can, what pharmaceutical drugs do when you're dealing with issues is overstimulate. Because again, you've been stimulating your body with strong food, strong drink, so you need the drugs to overstimulate to deal with the discomfort and the systems that you're the symptoms that you're dealing with. So we really need to go the opposite direction. If we want to really be healthy and we want to allow the body to do what it was designed to do, instead of always thinking stimulant, we need to think destimulant, destimulate. And what do we and how do we destimulate? Well, that's detox. Detox is really, we can, instead of destimulate, we say detox. Or instead of detox or detoxification, we can basically say we're destimulating. Because when you start to eat less food, what will end up happening is you will begin to destimulate the body. You will, and so therefore now the resistance, the residue. Now we're bringing it back to the residues that are left from food. We start to use those up. So when we start to feed on those residues, we naturally decrease the resistance. See, the residues, when the residues accumulate or overaccumulate, they create resistance. And that resistance will show up in different pain, different stiffness, different discomforts, whether it's within the organs, whether it's in the extremities, in your back, in your knee, in your ankle. All of these things, again, are susceptible or are created really by a, residue system that's naturally built in within the body. It's a fantastic, wonderful, perfect design. And once we begin to destimulate, detox, we now create a more of a super highway, which is what the body wants. When again you remove the resistance, now the transportation of nutrients, of blood, of all of the things become easier. And this really brings me to I hope that explanation was clear. This really brings me to probably I'm gonna really discuss one of two supplements that I personally take. I wish I would have had them here so that I can actually show you on this video. But nonetheless, it's I could give you, I could probably provide the links in the description. This is a YouTube video, so I'll at least do that, so you can you can Google it or you can click on the links, and these are the supplements that I actually take. So in terms of talking about that resistance, and we're removing the resistance instead of adding more stimulant to try to excite or to try to overstimulate the energy in the body by bringing in, again, something else on top of the food that's already overstimulating you. We go in the opposite direction. So juice cleanse, coconut water, even fresh water or spring water or distilled water, or even just eating less, you will begin to destimulate, detox, de-residue the body, and this is what will lead to better health naturally, without bringing in any additional things. So it's just really a whole paradigm shift on the way how we should think about the body, how we should think about health. Okay, so the first supplement that I strongly recommend is, and again, this is really part and parcel with the raw food diet, is enzymes. And we're not just talking about digestive enzymes, which I also recommend. You should, a lot of long-time raw fooders swear by digestive enzymes. But what I'm talking about is systemic enzymes. So these are, enzymes pretty much provide the energy for you to do everything. For me talking, movement, internally, externally, it all happens with enzymes. And obviously when we eat, our enzyme bank, which has a limit, it doesn't, it will run out. So we want to preserve our enzyme bank. So the thing is like, yeah, we can take digestive enzymes, and usually digestive enzymes are usually papain, which is from papaya, and the bromelain, which is from pineapple. So they're usually dehydrated, and you get them in little capsules, and they're not that expensive. But systemic enzymes really take it to another level, because now these enzymes go in and they can correct things like tumors, cancerous, fibroid tumors for women out there suffering with fibroids. Systemic enzymes are really the way to go. And they also work in a digestive capacity. So they're really more of a body enzyme than just working on digestion alone. And they have other ingredients. So again, I'm not gonna go into like the whole details in terms of the systemic enzymes, but there are a few on the market. The one I take, excuse me, the one I take is Vitalzyme, and like I said, I'll provide a link below in the description. Vitalzym. So that's vital, and enzyme, like enzyme is zyme, zym, no e at the end. So they have a couple of different cocktails, and I actually used to sell it as a practitioner. And if there was, I will be doing, and I do health consultations. That's one of the few supplements that I take pretty much. I wouldn't say every day, but when I'm thinking about it, I take them. I like to take them right before, maybe 30 minutes before my meal. I usually take about 2 capsules a day, and that's fine. I mean, if you're dealing with a health condition, then I would take like three capsules 3 times a day. Just to really give it high dosage, or even more. If you have any kind of, because what they do is basically go in and if we have any kind of scar tissue in the body, or if there's any kind of trauma in the body, scar tissue is created. And when we're young and youthful and got loads of enzymes, the body goes in and eats away at the excess fiber and tissue, and forms a healthy, like basically either there's no scar or a very slight scar. But as we age, the body's ability to do that decreases. So the systemic enzymes go in and correct and correct it. So, and they basically also, in that sense, they're also decreasing the resistance that I talked about earlier. With the resistance that's created from just eating food, it's going to go ahead and make that easier. Okay, so that's why those are the reasons why I really really like enzymes. And whether you're a raw foodist or not, make enzymes a part of your your supplement regimen. And then you say, what about a multivitamin? All these things, those things are really not necessary. And even enzymes to a certain degree, because there's a certain segment of the raw food population that'll do a lot of fermented foods, which have extra enzymes. Even what brings to mind is the whole Ann Wigmore philosophy, where they were doing, they differentiated between living food and raw food. So raw food would be like an apple or any kind of fruit or vegetable. But a living food would be something that is fermented, so that it has through the fermentation process, the enzymes are created within the system. So in this sense, again, enzymes are a critical piece to nutrition, to health in general. So, and speaking of fermentation, that really brings me to the next supplement that I want to talk about, which I personally take, and I really probably only take it definitely in the wintertime, and I'll explain why. Well, what it is fermented, and I stress fermented cod liver oil. You say, wait, cod liver oil? Cod as in fish? Yes. cod liver, fermented fish cod liver oil. You say, okay, wait a minute, Kepper. You're supposed to be raw vegan. Is this vegan? It is not vegan. It is raw. And it's like, okay, well, why, shouldn't you get everything, you're supposed to be plant-based, shouldn't you get everything from plant nutrition? Well, yes and no. Yes, because I definitely feel like we are raw, definitely meant to be raw, and I'm not necessarily a big fan of the word vegan. I say, in terms of our makeup and what we're supposed to eat, primarily fruitarian. So mostly fruit based diet. Now it's like, well, okay, so why, fermented cod liver oil? Well, fermented cod liver oil is the highest, in terms of a food, it has the highest level of vitamin D. So again, now that should answer the question of why, or explain why I am taking it primarily in the wintertime. And I'll tell you even why, because before I started taking this, for 3 winters in a row, and this was basically late winter, early spring, I was experiencing deep cavities. And it's like, okay, definitely not hygienic. Brushing and flossing and using toothpicks is my daily regimen. So it's like, man, something is happening. I'm losing my teeth year after year, primarily after the winter season. It's like, okay, so after my research and looking at it, it was like, okay, not just any cod liver oil, fermented cod liver oil. And so, because the thing is like, animal products are actually really hard to digest. So what nature has done, when you're not in I'm not living in a tropical climate year round. I honestly believe if I was in a tropical climate year round, I would not take fermented cod liver oil. But because I am in a seasonal zone and I'm not getting any very little to no sunlight or sun stimulation in the wintertime, after a fall and then winter and then even going into spring, it is a long time to go without like that stimulation of sun. So, and then especially eating, mostly fruits and some greens and nuts and seeds, your body is missing again that vitamin D, which happens to be in the cod liver. So it being fermented, when we ferment anything, basically you're adding the enzymes. That's what you're adding. You're adding the enzymes so that your body can, or that it can break itself down within the body. Our bodies have a very difficult time breaking down anything animal. So when it's fermented, now the body can, or it really can break down itself within the body, and then you get what you need from it, which in my case is the vitamin D. So since I've been taking it, of course, I have not had any teeth sensitivities. I have not had any pain. I have not had to visit the dentist, and it's been at least 3 to 4 years. After 3 to 4 years of doing this and having to go to see the dentist every early spring and to get a tooth removed or a root canal, something like this, like, okay, I'm not doing something. Something is So the thing is like, I know some of you, because food is everything. Food is life, and especially once we adopt a certain mindset behind food, it can become religious. It can become even dogmatic to a point where we close our minds to what wisdom, and so the thing is that for me, I had to open up, or I had to expand my vision to the belief, like, okay, because I'm not living, it's just like the Eskimos as an extreme. They're living in extreme temperature. I mean, obviously these things are not ideal for a human being. I feel like we are designed to live, where the sun is basically equatorial, along the equator between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. But as life has it, I mean, we live all over the world from the North Pole to the South Pole, and so it's like, if you're going to survive in those areas, especially being in a seasonal area like Washington, D.C., again, I don't eat fish, but I take cod liver oil, fermented. So again, that is some of the reasons that I take it. It has been definitely working for me. So again, you have to look at yourself and determine what is best for you. Anybody who's heard me talk, I always say, I can argue, I can make a case that the raw vegan diet is the best diet, but what I say is the opposite. I say raw vegan diet is not the best diet. I say it's the best diet for me, but you have to look at yourself and say, what is the best diet for you? Because there's so many other aspects to food. There's religion, as I spoke of. There's family. There's relationships. There's traditions. There's holidays. There's a lot of these things that are all food centered. So life is an experience. It's a ride. So whether we're smoking and drinking and strong food and drink, or we're eating very little, we're eating fruits and vegetables, it's all good. It's a personal choice at the end of the day. But like I said, I can logically argue definitely that the raw vegan diet is the ideal diet for human beings. There's a lot of case study and testimonials and information that's out there that supports that. But food is much bigger than that. All right. So yes, those are the two primary supplements that I take. So you say, well, what about a multivitamin? What about what about herbs and things like that? Again, those really kind of more fit into, because I definitely believe in herbs. So the step is to say, okay, because the thing is, like, we have to always think, we always have to think, we want to destimulate before we stimulate. If we destimulate first before we look to stimulate or overstimulate, then that you're going to be much better off. Because when you destimulate, you allow the body to heal itself. And that is what we want. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I always forget to remind people, if you enjoyed it, definitely like, share it, promote it. Visit my website, chefkepper.com, keppersrawfoodjuicebar.com. Come see me, Washington, D.C. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.